thank all of you for being here. Over the past week, we've had a lot of discussion about how to integrate metrics into evaluating the system. We keep hearing metrics this, metrics that, and then just recently the VA said they're dropping the metric of 14 days as a way to measure the scheduling appointments because that was unrealistic. Now they've changed it to 30 days. I know we can't abandon performance metrics, but when I talk to the people at the Las Vegas hospital and they go into all these details, then they tell me, but this doesn't really measure what we're doing because it doesn't count the first appointment that they have when they come in on the very same day, so it's not an accurate reflection. I wonder if we're not suffering from the ecological fallacy. We just can't see the forest for the trees. Do you have some suggestion about how we better use metrics, or we get rid of some metrics, or how we can do evaluation better? Anybody?
Yeah, in our industry, we tend to be gluttons for punishment when it comes to metrics, and I think it's important that we create a stop-doing list. If you look at the Medicare value-based purchasing formula, even itself, just in the last couple of rounds, is that there has been a decreased focus on process measures and a very much increased focus on outcomes measures. So not did you give the aspirin with an acute MI and the ED, because we've all gotten pretty good at that now, but how about mortality index? How about mortality rates? How about surgical site improvement initiatives there? So again, narrowing of focus and a much fervent shift from process to outcomes.
I would like to second that. I fully agree with that. And in fact, the article in the New England Journal of Medicine that the chairman referred to it in his opening remarks underscores how besieged, how suffocated doctors are by the requirements to enter so many metrics in the charts that you lose sight of the really important ones. And not only that, but you lose the doctor-patient relationship. I'm sure you've experienced this recently. You go to see your cardiologist, your internist, and instead of having a face-to-face conversation, the doctor is there trying to get everything into the computer while you're in the office with him or her. So we need fewer metrics. We need outcomes measures instead of process measures. And I'd like to applaud those involved in formulating this bill and working with the VA to make their metrics transparent, because for a long time they have not made available to the public their outcomes measures, much to the distress of all of us who wanted to see them.
Thank you.
I think that the one thing I would say is that we have to obviously measure the right thing. There's a lot of things out there in Medicare that I think show some quality outcomes, indicators of quality outcomes. And even though VA is a fairly unique system just by the way that it is structured, it is delivering health care just like a lot of other systems are delivering health care, and they shouldn't be afraid to take a look at those metrics from the outside.
One other question. We keep feeling this push to send veterans out of the VA into the private sector for care where they can get doctors who may be available to them that aren't in the VA. And that's fine, but in areas like Las Vegas and some rural parts of the country, you've got a shortage of doctors, so pushing them out there on already overloaded doctors is not going to solve the problem. I've got a bill working with some members of this committee to create more residencies at VA hospitals in areas where there aren't enough doctors. Do you think that's a good idea, or do you have other ideas that how we might address that?
I think that's one thing that you can do. Certainly there are several other things that we're currently looking at to discuss with VA in order to provide some solutions, especially in the rural health areas. Telehealth is a big one. There are perhaps mobile facilities that might go around to service some veterans. There are a lot of different things that you can hire what are known as locums, or locum doctors in a particular area to serve for a particular period of time. And there are some innovative solutions that I know VA is looking at, but they haven't pulled the trigger yet on some of it, and this may be the opportunity to do it.
Doctor?
Yes, I was just going to add to that most MDs in training at a teaching hospital do rounds at a VA, do some of their training at a VA hospital. It's just standard practice. And of course in rural areas it's a bit different, but I would change the use of one word you chose, we're not pushing them out of the VA, we're just allowing them out, giving them the choice if they wait so long or don't have another place, if they can't get an appointment at a convenient VA. So I don't think anybody in this room wants to push vets out of the VA or eliminate the VA.
Well, my point is, if they go out into the private sector, we need to have some doctors out there who are available to
You
help
are so
them.
right.
And there are shortages of doctors, and you have VA hospitals. It might be a place where you could do additional residencies.